This episode of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast is driven by Cornerstone Gundog Academy. CGA is the world's most comprehensive online gun dog training resource. They've got over 160 instructional videos that includes everything that you need to take a 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com to sign up for their free preview module and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gundog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. You are listening to the HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast, episode 163. This week on the show, we're talking something different. We're talking midday hunts. All right, welcome to episode 163 of the HP Outdoors Waterfowl podcast, where your on-demand audio source for all things waterfowl and waterfowl hunting. This week, we're brought to you by Lifetime Decoys. New for 2019, Lifetime Decoys Flex Float Mallard Decoys set the new standard for quality and durability in waterfowl decoys. The EVA foam, open bottom construction combined with the patent-pended dual flow swim keel system allows for more movement with less wind, the ability to sit flat on ice and dirt, and a virtually indestructible design which can be shot or otherwise punctured and still float. Each decoy only weighs 11 ounces with the self-righting keel weights removed, or 19 ounces with the weights installed. Check them out today at lifetimedecoys.com. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you've been around for a while, also welcome. You can check us out at hpoutdoors.com. You can find us across all of the podcast directories out there, all of the major ones, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere quality podcast content can be found, you can find our show. You can also find us across all the social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook users can head over and join our Facebook listeners group, chat with a bunch of like-minded folks, and my co-host Dan Hrushka. Dan, what's up, man?
Oh, not too much, buddy. I tell you what, the listeners group has been super active with a lot of good questions lately.
Yeah.
And a lot of good answers.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, sometimes it always seems like before season, there's a lot of questions like that. But then as people are experiencing some of their first hunts, or, this might be their inaugural season in the field, they're coming across things that they see and bringing a lot of good things to light. So definitely join us over there. And I wanted to go back, the last ad that you did for Lifetime. There's something to say about getting in and out of your hunting spot very quickly, and with just the ease of Lifetime rigs and those decoys is so nice. And I say that because I was hunting with Tony last weekend, and he still wraps the keels with some older weights, and man, I'm done and out of there, and he has half the amount of decoys out, and he's still wrapping stuff up. I'm just like, come on, man, let's go. And he's like, I'm still wrapping, but anyway, just a little shout out to the ease of their products and durability. I just love their stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're big fans of Lifetime, and those dudes are, good people, great company, good quality product. Definitely proud to be partnered up with them. Also,
they just came out with Widgeons, right? Or they're coming out with Widgeons.
Yeah, they previewed them, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward.
Look awesome.
I'm looking forward to the divers coming out. There's no question about that.
I think that's it has to be one of the next on the list.
I would think so.
It has to be.
I would think so. But
it just seems like the right move.
Yeah. We're a fan of Lifetime Decoys. We're also a fan of Gunner Kennels. They're engineered for your dog, designed for travel, and built for your peace of mind. The G1 Kennel set a new industry standard and put Gunner in a category all its own. They were started to protect your pet, continues to be at the center of everything they do, and they're dedicated to building the best and safest pet travel crate on the market, because man's best friend deserves man's best kennel. Check out their G1 series of kennels and accessories at gunnerkennels.com. Also big fans of Duck Camp. Duck Camp's joined the HP community here recently, and they're taking hunting apparel to a different level. They've got their own camouflage patterns. They've taken a modern take on hunting and fishing gear. They make high quality lightweight, midweight, and heavyweight garments. They're perfect for the blind, back at camp, or out in town. Make premium fleece hoodies, breathable rain jackets, some other stuff they've got coming out. They recently announced their brush pants. They're super durable and comfortable. Just great products for the waterfowler and the wing shooter. So check out their website. Get yourself outfitted with some of that gear for the holidays. Visit duckcamp.com. Also, another one that we're super big fans of, 737 Duck and Goose Calls. I don't know if you follow 737 on Instagram, but they've been killing it here with the Black Friday deals and lots of calls going out the door. The Chief has been super popular. You're seeing that thing pop up all over the place. But 737, with their original design, select grade components, superior sound, and unparalleled service, they take exceptional pride in producing the finest quality, best built premium calls in the market today. They're made right here in America, and they're offered only direct to their consumers through their website. Shipping in the U.S. is always free, and international orders are also now accepted online. 20-day money-back guarantee and a lifetime warranty accompanies every call purchase. 737 Duck Calls, lead the flock. Whew. All right, Dan. This week, we got a couple different things on the docket. It came up this week in the group talking about midday hunts. And we thought that might be a good topic to kind of dive a little bit further into here on the show this week and sort of shed some light. But I know you've been had a little more time to get out in the field recently and have been able to get the kids out a little bit with you.
Yeah, man. So I got Sadie out the one time and, just slaying the hooded mergansers. And
yeah, you've been beating the hoodies down this year.
Dude, so there's just there's thousands of them flying around. And I just can't get on the big ducks. I don't see them. There's some, that stay over in refuge and you see them flying every now and then, but it seems like a lot of people are duck hunting where I've been duck hunting and you know how it goes around these local lakes. There's just a lot of sky busting and stuff like that. But
you got no divers going on yet?
Not really. No, maybe. But this, as I'm sitting here, we're getting, I'll do a weather report, and
naturally
we got about 3 to 4 inches of snow in the last 3 hours. So,
what kind of snow? What kind of snow are we talking? Like light, fluffy, or wet?
No, it's like it's wet and heavy. Oof. It's not cool.
Yeah.
So maybe this pushed something in, and kind of
cold front, bruh.
I know it is too. It's cold out here in the garage, but no. But you said the midday hunt conversation started in the group. Well, as we talked about last episode, that I'm in between jobs right now, and I have to take the kids to school in the morning. So I was like, you know what, I don't midday hunt that much, but let's see others' thoughts on it. So I put it up there, and that's kind of what brought us onto this topic. But definitely, as you alluded to, got the kids out, got Dawson out, and that dude just wants me to shoot everything. He's such a boy and just loves being out there. But kind of want to dive into, we talked about kids episodes and stuff like that. Now that I'm actually getting to experience those, just talk about what my experience has been. And first, I want to talk about taking Dawson to duck hunting and hitting a deer. So I smashed a deer. Actually, a deer smashed me probably about 400 yards away from my driveway. This deer jumps off a bank, right? And comes right into me. I had like zero reaction time to it. Hits the side of my truck in the front fender. And now the front fender is getting replaced. My passenger side door is getting fully replaced. The skin on the back passenger door is getting replaced. And then the bed side is getting replaced. So, I mean, she did some damage and just spun and headed back into the woods. So as I hit the deer, or the deer hit me, Dawson says, "Daddy, we're going duck hunting, not deer hunting." And dude, so from a moment of just fury in my mind, I started giggling a little bit, and I was like, "You're right, bud. Let's go." And got set up and just had he just had a really good time, just a good mood. It was snowing and a little bit of snow, a little rain and windy. And I mean, the kid just wore it for 4.5 years old, like just really, really enjoyed it. So, um, and on that note too, speaking of, good people in the industry and people that support the show, I got a text from Addison, who is the owner of Gunner, and wanted to make sure that everything handled okay in the back of the truck, which it did. Kimber was in her Gunner in the back, and so that was a nice surprise to get a message from him, making sure everything was all right. But some things that I have noticed being out in the field with kids, and the first thing is, if they're not used to wearing waders, you should make sure that you bring an extra pair of gloves, because they're going to fall and they're going to get, if they're not wearing waterproof gloves, or if they're not wearing gloves, they're going to need gloves and probably an extra pair of gloves. So that's something that I should have taken with Dawson after Sadie fell right off the bat, but I didn't. And he was, I went out, I set up my spread. It was just me and him and Kimber. Set up the spread, and I just hear water.
Was it the 5 ducks in the spinner spread?
No, I had a good little spread out.
Okay.
Couple dozen.
Oh, snap.
And yeah, and 2 spinners. And I hear water behind me. And I'm like, this is after I told him to stay like in the blind. And I hear water, and little man's like coming out, like wanting to help set up. And I was like,
coming out of the booth.
coming out of the booth for sure. But so he's walking. I was like, dude, I said, don't come out too far. I said, your waders aren't that high. And he's just laughing. He's just laughing and like having a heck of a time, like just having fun. So comes out, and we get back out of the water. He starts going up the bank a little bit and bites it. It's just falls, catches, like not crying, bites it, but wet hands, and then he doesn't know what to do with them. And I was like, all right, man, here's the gloves and the hot hands. And so that's my first thing, extra gloves. Second thing, make sure you have hot hands or a heater. The little buddy heater, I don't know how they would work in like an open type blind, because I put up the fast strike, and the wind comes right through that with whatever kind of brush you have on it. So I don't know. I don't know how safe it would be, just with him moving around so much and really no one else to watch him, and the dog moving in and out. So hot hands are the go-to for me currently. That was my second one. Third one is snacks. Snacks have been big. You talked about that one before, but definitely when kids when they start getting, kind of rambunctious and wanting to call it a day, you pull those out, and there's nothing like Sour Patch Kids at 7:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. So, they get super excited, and then they're tuned up for about another 45 minutes. My next one would be drinks, warm and cold if possible. And you know what? I think they really enjoy going into the gas station and picking out their own stuff, just making them a part of the day. And then somehow getting them involved in the hunt. And what I've been doing is letting them run the remote on the Lucky Duck, mm-hmm. and just seeing it go in and out, stop, start. And I tell them to try and, get the white part of the wings on the bottom when they stop it. So that really keeps them like just focused, and then they just play with it the entire time. So besides that, it's been really cool, man. It's just something I've been waiting for, and I thought it would be a little further down the road, so I haven't been totally prepared for it, but it's been a really, really good time.
That's good, man. I mean, that's what you want to hear, right? I mean, you don't want to hear terrible things.
So I got two of the 3 have been out, and the third one is just not happy, and she's waiting her turn patiently. So
she's the PETA.
Well, she loves animals, but she wants to go. she's definitely not happy with Dad that she's the last one. So I wouldn't call her PETA, but she's an old soul and definitely an emotional girl. So
well, that's all right. They'll come around, and it's just about finding the right fit, and who knows? Maybe she'll be a big buck slayer or something.
Yeah, I can see her doing that. I can see her duck hunting too. I think she'll be into it.
Duck hunters and that, yeah. All right, so you know how I like to pull little snippets of these out of these magazines and quiz you on them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I just happened to find one here as I was looking through the most recent most recent issue of Wildfowl magazine. And something caught my attention. It says, "How high can they fly?" And it says researchers with the University of British Columbia trained bar-headed geese to fly in a pressure-controlled wind tunnel to learn how birds can migrate at such high altitudes. Care to take a stab at what equivalent feet above sea level these birds flew at for an extended period of time?
I actually saw, I think, something related to this recently, and I believe that they flew over the Himalayas, Mount Everest.
I don't know how tall that is.
Yeah, so 30. What is that? 30-some thousand feet.
I don't know. I'd have to ask Alexa for that.
Ask her. Ask Google.
I don't have it nearby me.
So 30. I think it's 30-some thousand. 35,000.
All right. Well, it says, as it turns out, they slow their metabolism. 6 of 7 birds flew at the equivalent of 18,000 feet above sea level for an extended period of time. Their heart rates were similar to flights at lower altitudes, but their internal temperatures decreased. Scientists believe that helps carry more oxygen in their blood. And it also said 4 of the 7 birds flew at altitudes equivalent to nearly 30,000 feet. That's pretty freaking high.
That is high. That is high.
Dude, that's like absurd.
I think somehow I've slowed my metabolism lately as well. And I'm not flying.
Is it to carry more oxygen in your blood?
No, it's to carry more weight around my waist.
Oh, it's funny.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's another thing that caught my eye on this magazine, and then we'll move off of this. Obviously, right now is the first time that we've had the decreased mallard limit, and guys are out hunting, and that's like something we've been talking about for a long time, but now it's like real reality for people. And the hopes are that the limits for us will go back up soon. But there was another little snippet in here that caught my attention, and it said that the headline was "Greedy Eating Snows," and it said a collaborative study that's looking into the effects of white geese are having on duck numbers in California's Central Valley. Wintering lesser snows and Ross geese are at 3 times their population objective in some areas, and it's likely these geese will self-limit growth, but it may come at the cost to wintering and breeding ducks. Many species are below the long-term average in California, including mallards. I guess it says it's a big deal when you consider that 60 to 70% of mallards harvested in California are hatched there. So essentially what this is saying is, kind of similar to, our flyway, but even further narrowed down to one state, that 60% of the mallards that they kill in California are hatched in that state. And they're going to start seeing increasing pressure and things because of the amount of white geese and Ross geese that are wintering there at such high levels. So it's interesting to see how this is going to see how this will work out, and if sort of Mother Nature will self-regulate somehow or not. But yeah,
that is, and you would think that there might be I don't know, a year-round season on snow geese. I was going to say eventually.
It kind of.
What else can you do?
It kind of seems that the efforts that have been put forth to allow additional hunting opportunities have not had as much of a desired result as they would have hoped.
Yeah, Even with, I mean, look at last year, like a horrible hatch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's still coming up with these numbers. It's 3 times over their projected limit. Is that what he said?
Yeah, in
Projected.
certain parts of the state. Yeah.
Whew. And I don't know what the snow geese limits are out there, extended seasons or anything like that, but
I think
it's definitely
it wasn't
definitely a
talking
problem.
about it was talking more about population objectives, like where they want the numbers to be is like 3 times where they want it to be. So pretty wild, and it's a bummer that has a negative impact on other waterfowl species, but I can see sort of how that works out.
And I don't know, I mean, we don't have that many snows around here, even that come down, the eastern side of PA, that would have that much of an effect on mallards. I wouldn't think, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, I think it would be related to where are they wintering and where where they cause the most damage, and where are the ducks coming from that we harvest in our flyway.
Right.
That's where.
Dude, I tell you what, like this summer, and I told you multiple times, like I'd never seen so many mallards around, and even last year hunting, like our mallards around this area, they were everywhere, right? So knowing that coming into the season that our limit was 2 was kind of like mind-boggling. And then this entire summer, there were just birds everywhere, like everywhere, more than I've ever seen. Like it was like I was in a different state. And even walking, I want to say that the nature trail over by Pima Tuning, I had never seen
the
ducks.
Nature Trail.
The nature trail. It was like you'd see ducks. There's a couple trees that are like falling down into the water, and they'll just get up there and sit and be all over the place. But you would never see them. Like towards the end of it, there's kind of a bank, and there's always hundreds of geese there. I've never seen more than like 10, 20 ducks on land there. And I actually got the ducks confused with the geese this year because there were so many of them. I was like, look at all those birds. And I was like, those are all ducks. You got to be kidding. And this is at the same time that the entire lake was just full of mallards. And now that we're in season, they're all gone. Like they're out. So I don't know, man. It's really weird how things are happening, and the lack of the birds in this direct area. But I don't know, maybe it is for the better, and maybe they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm going to leave the science to scientists.
Yeah,
I don't know much about all that. All right, man. Let's shift gears here a little bit. Let's start talking midday hunts, and
okay.
This comes up because of your newly acquired free time and all that stuff. So I'm going to let you lead us into this voyage of discussion. So take it.
Sure. So one of the first things that came to mind was hunting on the weekend, and things got a little slow, and we were still sitting out there, and I was like, man. Well, first Tony, I'll call him out. He was like an hour late because he like hit his snooze, and we were supposed to go out to one of the islands and hunt off the island. And I was like, man, I'm glad that we didn't go out there, because the only thing we saw, like had binos up and everything, it was just mergansers, like after merganser after merganser. I'm like, this is crazy. And I was like, I'm glad that we didn't take everything out there and get everything set up. And then as we were, almost about packing up time, a couple boats started moving around. Like people were probably seeing the same thing we were. And I was like, if we would have got here 2 hours later and these guys are moving around now, like all these birds are getting kicked up. So is that something that you could take advantage of, opposed to always coming out at first light and not wasting time? I don't want to say that, but it might not be the shoot that you're looking for. And that's kind of, got me thinking, and put that post up and seeing what people were doing. And it seems like a lot of people in the group are enjoying breakfast and then going out to their hunting spot.
Well, it's always something that kind of baffled me because, where we hunt most times, specifically for ducks, like birds are flying like 5 minutes before shooting light. And the ducks are usually like in our spots, and they're like, and you're like looking at your watch, and it's like, are we good? Are we good? And it's fast and furious there for the first few minutes, or 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever it is, and then it kind of slows down. But like you see these shows on TV, and these guys are out there, and like the sun's rising, like clearly shooting light, and they're just like pitching out decoys and like getting set up, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a great hunt today. And I'm like, I don't understand it. Like where I hunt, like the great hunt, if you're going to have it, has already happened with that much light. You know what I mean? So I do find it interesting, because I remember one person made a comment in there. It was like, it's hard for me to not go out in the morning. Like that's just what I'm used to doing, and I'm like, yeah, that's like, if I'm hunting ducks, it's hard to convince me to not be out there at first light, like ready, set up, ready to go. Geese, different story, but ducks, yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like, to have success, at least around here, you're going to be ready to go at first light.
And that was something too, up in Saskatchewan when we were up there. We're set up and like, all right, it's shooting light, right? And we're set up in our blind, and you look at the guides, and every time they're just kind of still getting their stuff together, and it's like, man, it's shooting time. Like, let's go. Like, you ready to go? And there was no, no hustle to it, so to speak. And it's just because they know that the flight was a little later, which was, it's just not what we're used to. So, I mean, it all comes together, and it seems, I would say that, going back a few years when we got out, you came up here and hunted, and it was super cold, like -8 all day. And it seems like the one common factor of the answers in the group that people had was weather. And when it's cold, when it's super cold, those birds, one, either aren't going to feed during that day, or it'll be a little bit later. And that's something that I think we saw one flock that day, and it was at like 11 a.m. maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
So if you were in the spot that they wanted to go to, that's definitely, I don't know. I think this is just a subject to open people's minds that if you are running late, and it shouldn't be reason to shut it down. Like, it could definitely be a banger of a hunt. And it seems like a lot of people are going that way.
Well, when it's like, you're talking about weather, right? When it's really cold, like those, I always, there's no interview that I ever refer back to more so than the Sean Stahl interview from like several years ago. But like, like he was talking about, their whole life is about survival, right? It's about food. It's about surviving to tomorrow. And, when those birds are on their roost spot, and if it's cold like that, a lot of the water might be locked up, right? So they might have one spot that they've been able to keep open. So by leaving that to go feed, they risk that water locking up. But two, they also risk burning much energy and calories to like go feed and get back in those cold temperatures. Like, it's really hard on their bodies to do that. So it might be worth not feeding that day and just sort of cutting the loss, right? But if they're going to feed in those types of days, often they will wait till the warmest part of the day to do it. So the sun gets up, all that kind of stuff. The ground, even if it's cold, if it heats up that might be enough to get them up and moving at that point in the day. So on those really dirty cold days and stuff, I mean, rarely, I don't think you're going to see many birds flying rated.
So I actually did a little bit of research, and one of the articles I found, they were saying that the one guide was not on really cold days on duck hunts. The guy wasn't going and setting up until around noon, and the reason they were hunting pea fields, and they would watch the ducks in the morning, and this is before the early flight stopped, but they would watch the ducks, and they couldn't get the peas out of the ground because they were frozen in the ground. So they would wait until the sun came up and started to melt a little bit of the mud and make it a little easier to get to. Then they were actually able to feed in it.
Mm.
So
Hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
they would they would start setting up around noon and then just crush them around 1 in the afternoon. So when most people were going back and taking their naps, and this is a guide that is, getting paid to go out and, take people on successful hunts, that was their mojo, and it was working.
I mean, I hadn't thought about that, but I definitely can see why.
Yeah. Another thing, kind of like we were talking with the weather coming in here, if this is pushing birds down and it's colder up north, if you're out in the morning or any time during the day, if you get a new flight of birds and they're looking for a spot to get down and you're set up, that could be, they could kamikaze in on you. And that could be exactly what you're looking for, right? That could be some of the best hunting that you've ever had.
Yeah, I mean those heavy migrator days, are ones you want to be in the field for no matter what. And if those birds are coming down and they're battling weather and things like that, if it's midday and they see a setup, they're liable to be pitching right in. You know what I mean? So, I mean, any day that there's a big migration going on, big north winds, whatever fronts, those are days you want to be hunting. But for me, I'm hunting. If I can get out, I'd like to hunt all day if possible. But if you gotta take the kids to school or you got to go to work in the morning or whatever it is, but you can get out late morning, early afternoon, it definitely can be worth it because, if you got new birds showing up in the area, they're, they don't know what they don't know yet. So those are perfect days to really get on them good.
Yeah. That takes me back to a hunt that we had, a goose hunt, and we had really, really good north wind. And actually it was a freezing rain. We got to the field and then we got set up and it was just like, as soon as the rain hit, it was freezing. So like our blinds were just covered in ice and it was kind of cool because everything just got, like, the snow that was on the ground got totally frozen over. It looked like everything was fresh. And these birds just, they would not get out of our spread. And it was 6 guys, so five birds, and we shot 30 geese in no time, and they just kept coming. They just did not want to leave. Like, you could have probably killed 1,000 birds that day, and that's big for this area.
I was not there for that hunt.
No.
That's the hunt that you stack those birds on your truck, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were sliding off because my truck was covered in ice. But it was, dude, so that entire morning we just heard ambulance going off, and the one guy was in the fire department. He's like, I might have to go. And he's like, actually, it's probably not even safe for me to drive on this because I mean, we'd walk back when we were walking back to get our trucks, like, we're sliding down the road to get to our vehicles. I mean, it was not a good situation.
Yeah.
I guess one of the last things to think about with this topic would be, the birds, they'll wake up and they'll go and eat and then come back too low for, come back for a drink of water and might head out again. If those birds, say that you're on a lake and a boat or a couple boats go through an area and they kick those birds out, 2 or 3 hours earlier than what they want, or maybe an hour earlier than what they want, and they go out and get something to eat and they're coming back, like, that might be your 10 o'clock shoot, right? If those birds are off their normal schedule just because of some sort of disruption happens, that could be.
Yeah, I mean, definitely that. And I mean, you're hitting on something that I love, and I call, personally, I call like the Holy Grail, which is the midday loafing pond. Because where we hunt down here in Virginia, we hunt a lot of ponds, a lot of water for geese, and they come off the roost and they go feed in fields, and then they go to these these loafing ponds to hang out during the day. And we've had them where we're getting migrators coming in, where we can shoot those loafing ponds like several weekends in a row and shoot them good because they're getting replenished with new birds that are coming in. And, if you can do it right, where you get your limit and you get out of there before all the birds get in there, you still get a number of birds that come back to that area because they feel safe. So whether they're coming there because they fed and they want to feel safe, or they've been bumped by something and they want to, that's a safe area for them. And then you get migrators mixing into that don't know what the heck they're doing, and they're just joining in. And man, those spots can be killer. So those are definitely ones you don't have to be there first thing in the morning. It was weird. I actually had one time I had a spot where we were seeing birds hitting the field like 9:30, or hitting the pond between 9:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock, in that range. And so we waited to get set up. We waited till it was breaking daylight, and we were out in the pond getting set up, and all of a sudden all these geese pick up and just start trying to get in. And we're like, what the heck? It's like 7. What are these birds doing here? Well, what we didn't know, because when we had scouted, we hadn't been there early enough. The birds were coming off the roost, coming to that pond for a quick drink, like just a stop, and then jumping up again and going before they went and fed. And then they were coming back to that pond after the feed, which was just weird. But we busted a bunch of birds out of there because we were like standing in the middle of the pond setting up, and because we didn't know. But typically when we were there in the mornings, first light, we would never have a bird in there before like 9 o'clock. So it was one of those things where it was just kind of weird. But, again, to your point, those loafing ponds where they feel safe are huge. If you can get on, the loafing areas, whether it's a sandbar, a pond, a slough, whatever it is that they're loafing on midday where they're not roosting. That's the key thing though, right? Like if they're not using it as a roost location, I'm good. I'm hunting those spots.
Yep.
So,
yeah, and there were a couple articles that I read too that were advocating going and shooting the roost midday if it was the roost.
If it's the roost, why do they do it? What do they do in their midday?
Well, that's
unless it's like super cold and they're just not moving that day.
Yeah, I was questioning the entire article, but but yeah. Anyway, so there's one other thing I'll point out too, and I think you touched on this earlier, but I want to just draw a little comparison. So when I was growing up as a deer hunter, we always stayed in our stands past lunchtime, always, because you knew everybody else. It was, there was a couple points in the day where I expected action to pick up. First light, I expected to see deer moving, and that's similar with ducks. Mid morning, I expected to see deer moving because guys would get cold and get up and go for a walk, do stuff like that, push deer around. And then always during lunchtime, guys want to walk out to their truck, warm up, get the blood flowing, get something to eat. They'd walk out to their truck. So I'd stay in my stand at least through lunchtime, because that's when I'd always see deer, because people would get up and push them around. So the same thing with ducks. It's like, mid-morning, you're going to get like where we're at. We've got some commercial fishermen, crabbers, things like that go out on the water. They start, putzing around. They're bumping ducks, moving stuff around. And then you got, lunchtime where you get, sometimes depending on where you're hunting, you might get more recreational people. You might get bass boats, buzzing around, things like that. So there's always different things that can push birds around. And, if you can find those sanctuary spots where they like to go for protection, or, you're inside of a cove where it blocks some wind a little bit, whatever it is that gives them a little shelter or security, those are spots where they're going to be looking for if they get bumped up and they're scared and they're just looking for a place to go. Those are going to be some prime options for them to hit. Yeah. Yeah. So after, after talking this through and this weather that came in, I think I'll be going out after I take the kids tomorrow, come back, get my stuff together and head out.
Midday hunt.
I think, yeah. Just see what it's about.
Pretty neat.
Just see what I get into. Hopefully
get some divers maybe you can shoot like a bufflehead or something.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Better than a hooded merganser.
You're definitely going to get your merg limits.
Hooded merganser limit is 2.
Indeed.
So,
are you just out there picking drakes?
No, I shot 2 hens. The kids won them, man. That's all. I mean, it's been they came the closest. So
they want to see carnage, huh?
Yeah.
That was
That's
good.
what, dude. Dawson wanted me to shoot every seagull that he saw. Dad, duck, duck. I'm like, that's not a duck, buddy. Shoot it. No.
Yeah,
Dude.
I
There's
know plenty of adults that do the same thing. Ducks, ducks, ducks. Oh wait, no, seagulls.
duck. There's a heron, buddy. Shoot it. No, can't shoot it.
I'm gonna give him some ethics lessons.
He needs some duck ID lessons. Is what he needs.
Yeah.
But
Cool. Well, what else you got? Anything good?
I think that's about it on a midday hunt. Just the preconceived notion that you have to be out at first light. I think if your schedule doesn't jive with that, then don't be afraid to set up and try a midday hunt.
Well, yeah, and I think too, one thing we didn't really talk about is if you're in a situation where you've got places that you can sort of jump shoot, midday is the time to do those as well, right? So maybe float a creek or something where you might get some jump shooting opportunities, things like that. Those are perfect things that you can do midday. You don't have to worry about being out there first light to get, for that kind of stuff. So let the birds move around, whatever they're going to do, get settled in, get kind of comfortable for a, portion of the day, and then jump them in those areas. Get some good shooting.
There are a lot of guys that are doing the jump shooting with the 2 mallard limit now too. It seems like they're
Makes
just going
sense.
out and not doing a full setup. So
Let's go out, pop 2, and call it a day.
I wonder. We need to get a guide on here from Maryland and see how everything's getting affected down there between the mallard and the goose limits.
Well, I mean, I have not been over there, but I can't imagine that there's been great migration to that area yet. There might be some geese, but I mean, I can't, it's been pretty mild, I think, in general. So I would doubt that they've got much duck. I'm sure they're shooting buffleheads and stuff, but I don't know. Maybe they've got some sea ducks, but I don't think like the bluebills and stuff are probably down there yet. But maybe I'm wrong. Don't know. But if they're just trying to kill mallards, it's probably pretty tough going.
Yeah, I assume. Well, hopefully we start getting them here.
Yeah, that'd be good. Christmas coming. So wait, what do you guys got left for duck season at this point?
It's out the 14th, and then it comes back in after Christmas until the 1st, I think. And that's it.
So it goes out the 14th and then comes in for like a week?
Yeah, 5 days, I think. And it and our goose is out right now. And I'm not sure when that comes back in.
So can you hunt ducks January 1st or no?
I will tell you in a second.
Yeah, because I mean Christmas is the Wednesday, so then you got Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Can't hunt Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I guess that'd be 5 days.
Yeah, December 27th through January 1.
Oh, so it's not right after Christmas. It's 2 days after Christmas.
Yeah,
got it. That makes sense. I was gonna say that would suck if you can hunt New Year's Day. I mean, a lot of people have off work,
Let's see here. Goose is. Yeah, it went out on my birthday, and it comes back in December 16th through January 18th, and then again January 31st through February 22nd.
Gotcha. Well, all right. Well, maybe we'll get some midday hunts in throughout that time.
I hope so. I also hope to be back to work in a couple weeks. So.
Employed.
Oh man. Hey, I have another thing to tell you. Okay. One more thing. Right. It's been probably a month ago, and I'm probably one of many people, but you know how at the mall sometimes you can put your name and stuff in for whatever they have out to win. They had a camper out, and I was like, I like camping. So I put my name in a camper, and I got a call last week, and they said, do you remember putting your name in for a camper at the Mill Creek Mall? I said, yeah. And they said, well, you're one of our finalists. I was like, really? said, what do I have to do now? And they said, you have to come to our facility it's right over the border in Ohio at a certain time and put a code into a thing. And I was like, I bet there's probably like 9 million people that are supposed to show up, but they had them like they had times like every half hour for 2 different days. So there can't be that many finalists. And they say you win. There's like different things you can win, like an iPhone watch or whatever, iWatch or $1,000 cash. Like those are one of 5 prizes is guaranteed, and then a chance at winning the camper. So I'm supposed to go this Sunday, but I'm not sure if I'm going to. What do you think about that?
I mean,
I almost feel like I need to call and see how many finalists there are and are going to be showing up.
I mean, you can't win from the catch.
No, but it's also like 2 hours out of my day to go over there and put a code into a lock to see if I win this thing.
If you win, it'd be pretty cool.
It would be neat.
I mean,
I don't know what I should do, though. What do you think I should do?
I think you should do it.
Should I call and see how many finalists there are before I commit to it?
I mean, I think you should just go full send. Personally,
I have to. Well, here's one of the things now. When I put that in, I was employed, and it says that you and your wife. It says you have to be currently employed. So
you're employed. You're a podcaster.
There you go. Okay. You start writing me checks then. Oh, jeez. But anyway, so I don't know. I think I might call and see how many people are actually finalists. But I mean, you can't. How many people can they actually call?
Dude, you don't hit home runs if you don't take a swing, bruh.
Dude, how many people could they actually call? Do you think they're calling thousands of people?
Do you play the Powerball when it gets up?
I do.
You get way worse odds than what you got right now, I bet.
And they said you get one of 5 guaranteed prizes.
Well,
the worst is like $1,000 cash.
I mean, are you kidding me? You're guaranteed 1 of 5?
I think something like that.
And the worst is $1,000?
I don't know.
You better go.
I need to call and confirm these.
I mean, if you can get a grand, I mean, $500 an hour, pretty solid. Take it.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I think I would. Yeah, I'd make it a priority, guy.
Oh, it's Sunday at like 10, I think. We'll have to see. But anyway, so I just got that letter. They said, we'll follow up with the letter. This is on a phone call, which I was amazed that I got a phone call. So I just can't see them calling thousands of people, right? Or hundreds, or I don't know. So they said, we'll follow up with a letter, and you have to bring all the documentation to the place. It's all right. So I got the letter today. I was kind of suspect.
I was gonna say, part of me wants to believe that like you're gonna have to buy like a timeshare or something to win, but
no, that was one of the first things they said. There's
or like a Tupperware or some cookware set, right? Like,
Tupperware.
Isn't that the thing?
They said there's no purchase necessary for anything, and it's not like a timeshare scam, is what the lady said. She specifically said that. Yeah, so I'm like, all right, like it's kind of seems legit, but I just don't know how many people you're calling.
Yeah. Well, interesting. Well, we'll get an update on that next episode.
Yeah.
See if you win a camper. All right. What else you got? Anything else that's worthwhile here? Or can we wrap up this week?
No, just the damage to my truck. It's worth getting a good insurance company because they're taking care of me. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's good.
And that's about it.
Yeah, that's what insurance is for.
I'll probably have a 5-day rental. So
sweet.
That's about it, man.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing I'll add is I'm not sure how quickly this is going to get out, but if it gets out here in the next couple of days, head over to our Instagram and check out the giveaway that we're doing with Turtle Box. giving away a Turtle Box speaker. So head over to our Insta account, check out Dan's video, and get yourself entered for a pretty sweet speaker. I'm a pretty big fan, actually.
Yeah. Self-filmed. Did you like that? I mean, wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, there was some weather involved, and your beard well manicured. It's just,
yeah,
full Sitka gear out.
Yeah, I literally just got done loading wood.
Black on black Sitka.
So I will have to say, so I should make a blooper reel because I did a couple takes. And
I meant to ask you when you sent me that. I was like, were you like Jay-Z where you just went in the booth and dropped it in one take, or did this take like 100?
No, it was 4 takes.
Oof.
And the fourth one was the one that I showed, but the third one I was like, I really enjoy this, and I actually just got done listening to it while I was loading wood, and then I was like, that was really dumb. So I just started again. But you could probably see wood chips on my shirt from carrying wood. But anyway.
Just a rugged outdoorsman.
Dude, I'll tell you what. If you don't go and buy a Turtle Box, you should go and buy that shirt from Sitka because it is awesome.
I love that thing. What shirt is it?
I forget the name of it, but it's a lined work shirt.
Yeah.
And I mean, you cannot damage that thing. I've loaded wood like every time in it, cut wood in it. I walked today pushing deer for my dad, like walking through briars. Like, you cannot damage that shirt, and it's warm.
Is it the Highland overshirt?
Maybe.
I think that's it. Versatile and durable.
It's durable.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the one you had on. It's like that dark charcoal.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dark charcoal gray color one you got. Yeah.
It's warm. Hey, man, that's about it, though. I'm going to go stoke the fire and plow my driveway. Stupid snow.
Yeah. Heard that. We had a dusting of snow on the ground, and it wasn't really a dusting. It was more of like a icy wet covering, I would call it. Ish. But anyway. Yeah.
Slushy?
Yeah, it was definitely slushy. Slushy in that.
No.
So, yeah. All right. Enough of us rambling. Let's go ahead and close this week out. Before we do, just want to take a minute to thank Lifetime Decoys, Gunner Kennels, Duck Camp, 737 Duck and Goose Calls, and Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. They've got over 160 instructional videos. It includes everything you need to take your 7-week-old puppy to a finished gun dog. Visit cornerstonegundogacademy.com. Sign up for the free preview module and begin your training journey today. Cornerstone Gun Dog Academy, the most advanced gun dog training resource on the web. That's going to do it for episode 163. Hopefully you enjoyed our chat about midday hunts. If you're new to the show, head over to iTunes, check out all of our past episodes. And while you're there, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. It'll help like-minded hunters just like you find our show. That's going to do it for this week. Next week, Dan and I will be back together with some brand new content for you. So until then, for Dan, I'm Josh. Take care.